The book, If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules, talks about the 10 rules for being human. One of these powerful concepts is that in life, we are presented with lessons. What we label as hardships or failures are part of our growth, learning, and experimentation. From this perspective, we can view our mistakes as opportunities to learn, and that actually there are no mistakes, only lessons. Dr. Scott then shared this wonderful story to illustrate this concept. Asad told her story. It was about a young girl from Morocco whose father was a spinner. He became prosperous in his craft and took her with him on a voyage in the Mediterranean. He wanted to sell his thread and told his daughter that she should also look for a young man who would make her a good husband. But a storm caused the ship to flounder near Egypt, killing the father and casting the daughter ashore. Miserable and exhausted, barely able to remember her previous life, the girl wandered in the sand until she finally met a family of weavers. They took her in and taught her how to make cloth. Eventually, she became contented. But after a few years, she was captured on the seashore by slaves, who then sailed east to Istanbul and took her to its slave market. A man who made ships' masts went to the market to buy slaves to help him with his work. But when he noticed the girl, he took pity on her, bought her, and took her home to serve his wife. But pirates stole the cargo he invested in, and he was unable to buy the other slaves. He, the girl, and his wife had to make all the masts themselves. The girl worked hard and conscientiously. The mast maker found her to be so capable that he eventually granted her freedom and made her partner in his business, which she came to enjoy. One day, he asked her to accompany a shipment of masts to Java. She agreed. But off the coast of China, the ship was struck by a typhoon. Again, she was washed up on a strange seashore, and again she cried out against fate. "Why do these bad things keep happening to me?" she asked. No answer came. She got up out of the sand and started walking inland. There was a legend in China that a foreign woman would appear and make a tent for the emperor. Because nobody in China knew how to make tents, the whole population, including one generation of emperors after another, wondered about this prediction. Once a year, the emperor sent out emissaries to every town to bring all the foreign women to the royal court. In due course, the shipwrecked woman arrived before the emperor, who asked her through an interpreter if she could make a tent. "I think I can," she said. She asked for rope, but the Chinese had none, and so recalling her girlhood as the daughter of a spinner, she asked for silk and spun it into rope. She asked for thick cloth, but the Chinese had none, and so recalling her life among the weavers, she wove the kind of cloth used for tents. She asked for tent poles, but the Chinese had none, and so recalling her life with the mast makers, she made tent poles. When she had all these things ready, she tried to remember as best as she could all the tents she had seen in her life. At last, she put together a tent. The emperor marveled at the construction and at the fulfillment of the old prophecy and offered whatever she wished. She married a handsome prince, remained in China surrounded by her children, and lived to a happy old age. And she realized that although her adventures had seemed terrible when they were happening, they turned out to be essential for her ultimate happiness. When we are in the midst of our storm, we often cannot see the big picture. It is not always easy to find the good in what appears to be dreadful circumstances. The girl in Asad's story finally saw in hindsight the perfection in the grand scheme of things. By shifting our perception to see challenges as opportunities to learn, we become empowered. And instead of sinking into the energy of defeat or victimization, we can rise to life's challenges and learn something important about our own thoughts and behaviors. When I look back at my own life, I can see that indeed there were skills I acquired which I am using now. There were things I went through that helped me become who I am today. I pause for a moment to say thank you for the grace for not having given up and turning old wounds into wisdom. I would love to hear from you. What struck you? Are you able to look back and see the gift of your experiences and that our mistakes are opportunities to learn? I hope this was helpful. Before you go, click like and subscribe for more inspiring videos. May grace be with you and guide you in all ways. Love and light from my heart to yours.